All right, let's bring in our panel to discuss this as well. Of course, Attorney Brian Claypool, and correct me if I'm wrong, a panel of lawyers, but the bar for a jury in the criminal side of this case is beyond a reasonable doubt, as it always is. But in the civil case, it's a preponderance of the evidence, right? So it's a lower bar to reach a guilty verdict in that venue. I want to take a look at this because I think it's interesting, the point that you're making, Mark, that the signal that's being sent from Baldwin's team today is that they're going to fight. And here's part of what they said back in August of 2022. Quote, there are two people, this is Alec Baldwin, who didn't do what they were supposed to do. I'm not sitting there saying I want them to, go to prison or I want their lives to be hell. I don't want that. But I want everybody to know that those are the two people that are responsible for what happened. Brian, your reaction to that?
Yeah, hey, Martha, thanks for having me. I think the prosecutors got 2/3 of the equation correct. I think they were right in charging Gutierrez Reed. She's the armorer. She's the captain of the ship. Her sole job is to make sure there's no live ammunition in the gun. Then you move to Baldwin. Right. I mean, he's got issues with safety there. He shouldn't have pulled the trigger. The script didn't call for him to pull the trigger, and arguably he should have looked to see if there was any live ammunition. But here's where I think the prosecutors got it wrong. They should have never cut a deal with David Halls. That guy is arguably as culpable as anybody. He didn't even look in that gun, and he admitted that to the investigators, and then he declares it's cold to Baldwin, which might explain why Baldwin doesn't really look at it. And why is that important at trial? Because to Mark's point about Baldwin's defense is going to be, I'm going to blame everybody else. Well, he's going to blame Halls, and his lawyers now, Martha, are going to be able to subpoena Halls in to testify, and they're going to cross-examine him till the cows come home. Whereas if Halls remained in the case and they didn't cut a plea deal, then he could have remained silent. So I think that this throws a bone to Baldwin's defense and really going after Halls at trial.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. I think in terms of job description, you look at Halls, he's the person who handed the gun over and said, cold gun. That's what they're supposed to do. And then the actor takes it and, has the reason to believe that it is a cold gun and that there wouldn't be any live ammunition on the set at all to begin with, which should give him an added layer of comfort, I guess, in the process of all this.